Welcome and thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. The following content may involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised.
And welcome back, everyone. Today, oh my gosh, I am so damn excited, by the way. This is one of my favorite fucking topics ever. And joining me to cover this today is Erica from Paranormal in Pennsylvania.
Yes, it's so nice to be here.
I feel like we're in a stadium. That was like an intro to a basketball player right there.
Oh yeah, good. And I love it. We just have to put in the stadium noises.
Oh wait, hold on. I don't know if you can hear it. Did you hear it?
I sort of.
There's an applause button on my recording device.
Oh my God. Perfect. That's what we needed.
That was perfect. So I just want to, originally, I typically start off and kind of give you the floor. I introduce you, but you can introduce yourself any other way or explain kind of what your niche is, what you guys do, and that kind of thing, a little background. So that way everybody knows. And if you want to throw in, I am totally cool with shameless plugs. Let them know where they can find you, where they can go, all of that stuff.
Yeah. So, like Natasha said, we're Paranormal in Pennsylvania. It's me and Sarah and David, and we basically discuss all things paranormal, mostly in Pennsylvania, but we do have some like special outside of Pennsylvania episodes, which is really cool. And our episodes are basically broken down like history of the location that we're covering, and then the paranormal activity, which is like my favorite way to do it. And at the end of the episode, we just answer the question every episode: would we visit the place? Is it safe enough? Is it respectful enough to visit it? And so, yeah, it's really fun. If you are interested, we're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify.
Awesome. So I do have to laugh because that is exactly how I set up pretty much all of my spooky episodes.
Yes.
And I like, and with my cryptids, I obviously have to do it a little different because I can't really, say, would you visit Snallygaster? I usually try to go like, what do you think? Does it exist? Could it exist?
Yes.
What are your opinions? Could it be something else? I try to delve into that. And it is really cool because I've been able to get a couple of people on here to interview that have had personal encounters. So I had Matt Imp, Inch. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Matt E, because he knows I can't say his damn name. I didn't even say it whenever we were on the pod. So he, when he was younger, had an encounter with a dog man. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I mean, it was crazy. And it's just really cool to have those. And I've had some, multiple people with paranormal experiences and investigators. So, we kind of swap it up a little bit. Well, and then sometimes I freestyle. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh. I am so fucking excited. Because today we're going to talk about torture.
Oh my gosh. I'm very curious.
Old school torture.
Oof. Which was terrible. I mean, we've discussed a few like penitentiaries on our episodes, and every time I'm like, this is so crazy and despicable. I can't believe people thought they could do this to humans.
Oh no. We're going medieval. Yeah.
I'm very excited.
Oh my God. And there are some questions at the end.
Okay.
To answer.
I'm ready.
Oh my God. So fucking fun. All right. I guess we can go ahead and, I was going to tell you, be prepared. I don't have all the lights and stuff on. But I'm really interested to go back and listen to this later because I have had some interesting stuff happen. Things falling off the countertop. And, my lights flickering in my bathroom, which happens a lot anyway. That's Gertrude. She likes to go in the shower. I don't know. It's only when I shower. I don't get it. But, to each their own.
Yes.
But I was having a conversation. I was on the phone yesterday with someone. I was talking to them. They suddenly stopped and just, looked really confused. I was home alone, or so I thought. And it was just me, the dogs, and the cat. And they looked at me and they're like, you said you're home alone, right? I was like, I'm here by myself. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would know if somebody else was in my house, right?
Yes.
And he goes, well, you were talking and you stopped and somebody said, shut the hell up.
Oh,
Like plain as day was like, shut the hell up. And
that's terrifying.
I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what episode it's in, but I think I know who it was,
Yeah, yeah.
or what it was, because we were talking about equipment. So she is a paranormal investigator, and we were discussing equipment and things that we like to use. What do you like? What works best for you? And she was talking about the stuffed animal. She said she has this bear. It's stuffed. And if
Oh.
something like passes it or squeezes it or whatever, it kind of makes like a high pitched sound and its paws light
Oh,
up for like little kids.
yeah.
And I have little kids.
Right.
And I literally, so we're talking about it. And I said, I know a couple spooks around here that would just absolutely love that. And then I just kept talking. But when I went back to edit, right after I said that, it sounds just like a kid going, mommy. And then, oh, but right after that, it's like something is trying to push him out. And it's like, mommy. And then it's like, fuck off.
Oh
Is
my
like, yeah,
gosh.
it's like real guttural and like muffled, but it sounds a lot like fuck off.
That is I'm so
Yeah.
surprised that you have so much activity.
Oh, well, usually they follow me.
Yeah.
Everybody says it's a
Oh
gift.
my
I call it a
gosh.
curse.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then last night, oh, it was just me and my husband. My kid's gone,
Yeah.
and we're laying in bed, and yeah, I can't sleep because well, I can't sleep, and I'm just laying in bed, and I hear, "Mommy,"
Oh no.
and I turn, and my husband was awake, and I poked him. I'm like, "Did you hear that?" And he's like, "Did I hear what?" And I'm like, "Did you just hear a kid talking?" And he's like, "No, I didn't hear anything. Go to bed."
Right.
I'm like, "Are you sure?" And then I heard like one more. It was like, "Mommy,"
Oh my
and I
gosh.
was like, "You didn't hear that?" He's like, "I didn't hear anything." And then I'm like, "Great," which I recognize it. The same one that was talking to me last night is the same one that was talking to me on the recording. It's the same voice.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is it the
Yeah.
same? Was it the same voice? Oh
Yep.
my gosh. So maybe it heard about this bear and just really, really wants
Well, and
to
that's what's
squeeze the
weird is
bear.
I don't know what we were talking about. I mean, I just went to bed. I don't even I
Yeah.
didn't do there wasn't anything that I could think of that would have instigated anything. It just sometimes
Yeah.
which it likes to stand outside my door and yell mommy. So
Oh my gosh.
I think we need to have a sit down.
Yeah.
If you're around here, we need to stop doing that. That'd be great because you're kind of freaking me the fuck out.
Right.
And then I was at the grocery store
Yeah.
and I was walking down an aisle and I just heard like I was just going and it was don't go.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
like a whisper in my ear and it sounded like a woman. So I turn around and I
Right.
was like what? I'm the only person in the fucking aisle. No
Oh
one
my
else was around.
gosh.
Okay.
Oh
Well,
my
I'm leaving anyway.
gosh.
Sorry, bitch, I'm leaving. I got stuff to
Yeah.
do. But yeah,
Right. Yeah.
so it's just been for whatever reason, it seems like it's a little more active the last couple days. And
Yeah.
it does. Like sometimes, I have spells where nothing really happens. And
Right.
sometimes it just gets kind of crazy. And yeah, so this will be interesting to know whether or not they're gonna show up today.
Yeah. I'll keep my eye
So
out for it.
yeah, say maybe you might see something funky, but we'll go ahead and dive in here and see whether or not they approve of the topic. If not, tough
Right.
shit, because I'm the boss here. So what I've got to start is for this episode, I want to take you way, way back to the days when torture included physically gruesome and agonizing pain.
Oh,
This is so fucking awesome.
yeah.
So the lower crime environment of the past was formed by the implementation of those sometimes literally gut-wrenching tactics of punishment. So
Yeah.
public hangings, which I am totally for, bring them back. I know, not a common stance people agree with.
Right.
For instance, I like true crime. I know a lot of people like
Oh,
true
yeah.
crime.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was explaining to my husband that I was like, did you know I could kill this bitch, dismember her body, light her on fire, piss on her, and throw her in a wood chipper, and I'd get 7 years.
Yeah, these crimes are getting horrific. Honestly,
my thing is if the punishment does not fit the fucking crime, even if you get life in prison without parole, or you even get if somebody's lucky enough to get the death penalty because they actually have it, life without parole, because you sit on fucking death row and we're wasting our tax money. The prisons are crowded. But anyway, we're not going to get it. We're not going to saying.
I know. Like I said, I think I feel like things are getting very horrific these days. Like people are coming up with new and creative ways to murder other people, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Think about it. Petty theft was way, 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 way down in numbers when the punishment was, I'm going to chop your damn hand off.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
So you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things that's, oh, well, if I do that and all I get a smack on the wrist, it's going to hurt for about 0.2 seconds. Okay, I can handle that. I get the satisfaction of doing whatever the hell it is that I want to do, and all I get is 0.2 seconds of something.
Right.
Definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. And if I get life in prison without parole, I don't have to pay the fucking bills. They feed my ass. I don't have to pay rent.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that sounds like a goddamn vacation.
Yeah, not having to pay rent.
I might even get a girlfriend. I mean, hell. I'm down. Like, sign me up.
Yeah.
But anyway, if you've made it this far into the episode, you've already heard my disclaimer. But I'm going to give a different disclaimer that is not so much my mouth. It's going to be pretty violent, somewhat gruesome. And if you have a weak stomach, you might want to pass to the next episode.
Right.
Because I have no shame. So, but I wanted to start off with a little Italian-based contraption called Judah's Cradle, also known as Judah's Chair. Do you know this one?
I don't, but considering that Judas was the person in the Bible who betrayed Jesus, I don't think it's going to be a good one. Just taking a guess.
I mean, on a scale of 1 to what the hell, it's a what the hell. It's definitely a what the hell. All right. So, I mean, but Judah's Chair sounds pretty innocent, right? Doesn't sound horrible. Right. But there might just be the torture of sitting really long. Maybe they're just like, oh, you just got to sit for a really long time and your butt's going to hurt, right? Wrong. Very, very, very wrong. I mean, you're sitting, but the victim in the scenario would be in the chair, which wasn't exactly a chair because it was kind of open at the bottom.
Oh, so it's just like armrests?
So, okay, this is like a horrible analogy, but it's the only thing I could think of. I had to watch this video one time. I think I was in high school. And they showed a Chinese orphanage.
Yeah.
That got shut down because they would tie the kids in a seat with a hole, and that was their toilet. And they would just sit there for days.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I could think of to compare it to. So basically, if you took a wooden chair and you cut maybe, I don't know, a basketball size hole in it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So still enough that it could support you sitting.
Right.
But yeah. So
okay.
Then they would be lowered onto a pyramid shaped seat.
Oh my God.
Using ropes. And I mean, lowered to the extent that the pyramid would begin to either pierce their JJ or their booty hole.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it doesn't stop there, honey. Then they would continue to lower the victim, increasing the pressure and reaching the maximum stretch capacity of the orifice of choice, causing permanent damage. In most cases, it would get to the point where the orifice would rip open, causing a serious infection. And now remember, in these days when they are doing this, cleanliness was not a thing.
Right.
So if Jim Bob got his ass ripped open on this pyramid,
right,
then they stuck Susie on the pyramid. There was no cleanup in between.
Yeah, that's not good. You know what? That's disgusting. it
Yeah.
just in itself, that can
And-
lead to an infection. And at that time, death.
Yeah.
If you had
And
an infection.
if you think about it, I mean, you're not even, you're supposed to wipe front to back, let alone have a pyramid with crap on it shoved up your hoo-ha.
Yes.
I mean, but
And
you
probably
never
blood.
know. Yeah, you never know which one's gonna be on there, I guess.
Right.
But they would also, we're not done. They would attach additional weights that would typically result in death by impalement.
Oh, well, that's what my
Literally-
question was, is how far do they go down before it just goes through a person? You know what I'm saying?
Well, so I couldn't see any pictures to identify the scale, I guess, at which the angle was on the pyramid. So that's a big thing too. It could have been a pointy one, or it could have been a more broad-based pyramid.
Right.
Which is why they added the extra weights to cause maximum damage.
Yes, yeah.
But that was just So there was actually a similar device that was established called the Spanish donkey.
Oh.
Which just sounds like a dirty sex movie, but
yeah.
On this one, the victims would straddle a triangular horse type contraption, forcing them to place the entirety of their weight on their coochie junk area while it rested on the point of the triangle.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. So that one, they're not being lowered. Is it just like it's resting there, or is that
it seems like it's more like but yeah, I think that was more body weight related.
Yes.
And it doesn't.
Yeah, that's horrific. Both of them. Both of them are
terrible.
That was a
good start. Good start, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they
All
only
right.
get worse, I can't even imagine.
Well, saw torture.
Oh, okay.
And
well,
not
yeah.
like burn because they didn't have electricity, right? We're talking, you got two dudes having to use this giant saw.
Yes.
That kind of saw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like lumberjack style.
Right.
And I bet you could only imagine the damage that one could endure in this type of torture.
Yes.
This is what we're looking at. Straight up execution, where the perp would literally be sawed in half while they're still awake. They built these trusses or whatever, I guess, like a doorway. So you have the two wooden things that come up and the one that goes across, and they would tie their ankles with their legs apart at the top and dangle their head at the bottom above a grate to catch the blood.
Oh.
They would put the saw in between the legs and start sawing all the way down. Yeah.
Okay, see, I'm gonna be honest with you. I was totally thinking of, those magicians that saw people in half, but it's horizontal.
They actually do. They would sometimes cut them horizontal.
Okay, I was gonna ask, like, maybe that's where that started, but if some of them were vertical, I literally can't even imagine.
Yeah, it's both ways.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah, this method does not discriminate.
No.
And would it be worse to go vertical or horizontal?
Yeah, that's because I almost feel like if you're horizontal, you're gonna live through that probably, and then you'll just be awake.
They cut them all the way in half.
So at that point, they'd probably be dead, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know how long someone can live with their legs like cut off, but then vertical, I mean, you're probably dead before they get to the bottom.
Well, what I was also thinking though is if you think about it, and you're upside down.
Yeah.
Now, if you're wanting to bleed out an animal, you hang it from its feet.
Right.
But you cut it at the neck because all the blood is going down.
Right. Okay.
But if you start at the top and work your way down.
So sad. Okay.
That's what I just realized.
Yeah. Oh.
But that was short. So okay.
Yeah. I mean, short and to the point.
Here's a good one. You might have heard of this. This one's pretty popular.
Okay.
All right. So the next brutal device is the pear of anguish.
I don't think I've heard of this one either.
Oh, okay. Cool beans. All right. So I love my next statement. We're not talking about the yummy green pears that I can't get enough of at the grocery store, because those are my favorites. I love those things.
I love pears.
But this particular device was used to punish those who facilitated a miscarriage. I'm assuming that means forced abortion.
Right. Okay.
Liars, blasphemers, and gays.
Oh my God.
Yep.
Specific set of people.
And they sometimes called it the choke pear.
Okay.
And they would use it differently depending on what reason you were getting it for.
Okay.
Women, what they would do, which by the way, we'll go ahead and describe what this thing is. So literally the bottom of it is like a pear. It's got the big bulb at the bottom and it kind of goes into the small thing. It's got a stick that comes up with like a spring or a, like when threads like a screw.
Yes.
And a little handle at the top, right?
Okay.
Like you're twisting a jewelry box.
Yeah.
And so they would insert the fat end of the pear into whatever hole they could get it in.
Yeah.
Or wanted to put it in. And then as they cranked the end of it, it would expand. It was just metal. God. Yeah, it was metal plate. And so the more they twisted, the farther it would expand until it would be flat.
Listen, I don't even really like getting a pap smear, so I don't think I could do that. That's so terrible. I honestly, okay, so I'm assuming like for men then it was a very like specific part of their body where they put this.
It could be a couple.
Because would they also put it in somebody's like mouth?
And they would do it until their jawbones and their teeth would crack and break.
Yeah,
and again, remember that cleanliness we talked about?
Right. Oh my God, that's even worse.
Yeah.
I think if
like
you're
a whole different meaning to eat shit.
Yes. Yeah. No, oh my gosh. That is again, like how on earth did anybody come up with this stuff? Who was sitting there like, this is going to be great. This is going to be awesome.
If you can't see the video, you should subscribe.
Oh my gosh, did something happen?
No, it's me. I'm that person.
I'm that fucked up
person that would be like, what can we do to this person?
Oh, but yeah, that one is terrible.
Yeah. So, the women would typically get it in the old hoo-ha. Right. Which, if I had to pick, I pushed out a 2-foot, 10-pound thing out of
That's
here.
That's what I was going to say.
He did damage, but
right.
It was,
I think like, that could.
I didn't die. Yeah. Now, granted, if they shoved it up Jim Bob's butthole and then shoved it in there, I'd probably get an infection.
Right.
But it would be the most action I've seen in a long time. So whatever. And then the ones that they, were getting for homosexuality, I'm sure you could guess where they stick that.
Yes.
Liars and blasphemers would get it in the mouth, because that's what they, were using, I guess, to commit the crime or whatever.
Right.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to be a liar going after somebody who they accused of being homosexuality.
No. That would be
or the
terrible.
Other one, they didn't wash. Oh my God.
I mean, that's like a combination probably.
I got a little bit of like in there and I usually don't. But I just got they also didn't shave.
Oh.
And then you get the puby.
No thanks. No,
anyway,
thank you.
Let's move on.
No to that one.
Okay. After all of that,
yes,
it wasn't actually used typically as a murder. It was the warm up of the torture.
Well, I was wondering that when we were talking about the effects it would have if it was in your mouth. Because if your jaw has cracked and your teeth are cracking, I don't know how feasible it is for you to be left alive, Well, I guess maybe it could heal. Honestly, that's a fair point. Probably a lot of soft food.
That's where I go. They eat. Oh, wait. Porridge. They ate a lot of porridge, right?
Yes.
I'm sure there's some other term for it. I just don't remember what it is. Yogurt.
Right.
Lots of milk. Okay, so that's the end of that disaster. Thank God. Let's move on. Then we have the iron chair, which is...
This one I have heard of, I think.
I believe it's probably among the most atrocious, I would say.
Yeah.
And it was exclusive to the Middle Ages, and unlucky souls were restrained to a chair sporting hundreds of sharp spikes using iron restraint. I'm so proud I said that word right, because I'm going to slip up if I say it again. The punisher would then progressively tighten the restraints, which would cause the spikes to raise and penetrate deep into the flesh. And this particular type would last from hours to days.
So I remembered that I had heard of this one because the spikes, the whole concept sort of reminded me of, if you've ever read Matilda by Roald Dahl, that box.
I watched the movie. Yeah, that's an Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
I think it's
and
in here.
So like, yeah. So yeah, I think I remember the iron chair from like relating it to that because it's just,
Well, I guess the difference would be the Iron Maiden, the spikes are the spikes. They don't retract. They don't, they close your acid in your toast. You're like a juice box. The chair, however, when tighten the restraints, it's like when they tighten the restraints, it increases the amount of spike that is being exposed into the flesh. And a lot of times they would primarily use this method to torture a confession out of somebody.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, that would hurt.
Yeah, that would.
Because I mean, if there's like hundreds of them, I'm like, are they all over the chair? Are they only on your butt? Are they? Because that could be some really nice acupuncture.
I mean, honestly, that's a fair point. My back could probably use that.
Yeah, I could use that. I was like, wow, my migraines are gone.
Yeah, great.
Or what they would do is say we were both up to something and they wanted you to confess. So they would take me and they would put me in the chair and they would start cranking it up, trying to get you to confess to stop the torture for me.
Right. Yeah. Which it makes more sense because I do think like, okay, this is probably not accurate. I've never,
unless you're a sociopath,
close. Yeah, I've never even had anything close to this happen to me. But I was thinking like if they're trying to get a confession out of me and I'm the one in the chair, I could maybe hold off because once the spikes are in, like it might hurt every time they do the restraint. Maybe it wouldn't be as bad once they're in, and I could just like deal with it and keep my mouth shut. But if somebody I knew was there, I would confess very easily.
Damn it. Okay, there's like one person that they could put in that chair that would make me. Other than that, I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, peace, man. They did it. They did it. I saw it. I'm a witness. I'm not guilty. I'm a witness. They did it.
That's funny.
I'm a dick. It's okay.
No.
All right. So next, we cannot forget the very self-explanatory head crusher.
Okay, this one I feel like sounds familiar too.
All right. So it's just a vise and they would put your head in it and it's got a big crank at the top and a metal thing that would go on your head, but you had a piece at the bottom. Sorry, move my mic. Piece at the bottom that holds your chin in place. Right. So as they're turning this, it's taking your head and squishing your head until it crushes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of times people didn't die.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say that
they just
I've
suffer
always heard
with
of the eyes like popping out.
Oh yeah, but you can live without your eyes.
That's fair.
I just have an answer for everything, don't I? Wow.
No, but that's good because I'm
like for like okay, smart ass.
No. Oh, that's a very fair point though.
But they say that, think too, whoever's in this thing, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from or what your background is, right? Once you're in this thing and it crushes your head at all or morphs your head into a different shape, you're not disfigured in the medieval times. And that's virtually a death sentence. Yeah. I mean, you get shunned and, hackled and all of that. And then not only that, then you've got the brain damage from the event that's, potentially permanent.
Yes.
So,
and if it's on if it's on the front, that's what controls like your impulses and like your feelings and emotions, right? So yeah, I was going to say that would just really turn you into a psycho, literally.
It covers the whole top, so I would assume that it would get all of it. I don't know if it would be more one than the other.
Right.
Okay. I gotta get situated. One, my ass hurts. Two, we're getting in to my favorite. Well, one of my favorites. It's a really close. It's a neck and neck on this one.
Yes.
All right. rat torture.
Why does that? I think I've heard of that too, because that
Do you
sounds
watch Criminal
very
Minds?
familiar. I do not.
Oh, well, they do it in Criminal Minds once.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, some unlucky soul would be entirely restrained, face up on a horizontal surface like a table or counter or whatever. A rat or rat would be placed on their stomach, and then they would cover the rat with a metal container. Then they would slowly heat the container. That would cause the rodents to scramble for a way out, and there's only one way out. They
Yeah.
would eat their way out, intestines and all.
Yeah. I hate this.
It typically took hours for them to get out,
Yeah.
and the person was awake so they could feel every single bite.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember
Isn't that
thinking
awesome?
well, listen, it's effective. I don't know. But yeah, I just remember thinking to myself, like, I can't even imagine because if I don't know if your head's like pulled back, but like if you could pick up your head and even just like see what's happening, that would be terrible.
You wouldn't be able to see it though, because it's under a metal container. So you wouldn't be able to see what's happening. They need it to be metal so it gets the rats to react.
That's for some reason. I was thinking the metal container was like around each individual rat. And I was like, it still makes sense to me that they would try to go into the stomach. But
yeah,
that's even worse. That's even worse.
And I think from a lot of the pictures I've seen, I think they did usually strap the head down.
Okay.
Gotcha. I'm sure different people, different strokes for different folks, but
yeah,
a lot of times I see with the head strapped down. But that's my favorite. Well, one of my favorites.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Flaying.
Oh. Was that in Game of Thrones?
Like, I don't know. I don't watch that.
I barely did. I know like a few
I
scenes.
Can't watch it because I can't let my husband watch it because, well, he wants to see titties. I got plenty right here. He doesn't need to look at the TV to find any.
That's fair.
But it's pretty bad. The flaying method was used as a punishment, but also a method to slowly and brutally execute someone.
Okay.
The Syrians brought this method into existence around 883 to 859 BC, and they would strap a victim down and slowly remove pieces of them.
The
amount in place of the skin removal would determine when or if the victim would expire.
Yeah, that is not what I was thinking of.
So think like fillet of fish.
Yeah.
Only
that's terrible.
Fillet a person. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They could do tiny chunks. They could do big chunks, deep, thin.
Yeah.
Butcher's choice.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds just like an unprofessional amputation, just over and over and over again.
They don't actually remove any limbs. They essentially skin and cut the meat off. I mean, by the time you don't even get all the way through the skin usually before you die. But
yeah.
But yeah, so that one's pretty gross.
Yes.
This one, I don't think it's as bad, but I just thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Which I guess is horrible for me to be like, oh, this is funny. All right. Coffin torture. And some say, which I think is interesting, that this is actually the most dreaded torture during the medieval period. Oof. Although with the rats on the table, I'm really not sure that this even holds a candle. No. But so the accused party would be placed inside a caged coffin and completely immobilized. I mean, you can't move a muscle. Okay. And you're in this like coffin, but it's not coffin shaped bird cage.
Right. Okay.
Like metal bird cage. Okay. Your length of time was determined by the type of crime you were accused of. And they would put you on display for the public where you would be mocked and abused by passing angry locals.
Well, see, that I could do. I could do that. Maybe not the abuse part, but the making fun of me, I could do that. But the rats to me does sound worse.
I don't know. At least with the rat, you die.
That's fair.
Who wants to face
That's
public
fair.
ridicule? Every
Oh, you
millennial's
know what?
nightmare.
I guess in that time period, like you had said earlier, like ridicule and kind of being outcast from society was a death sentence. Like today, if you're
Yeah.
ridiculed by society, it's kind of like, all right, like I'll just
Well, no,
retreat.
you cry and everybody gives you everything you want. So,
Yeah, also that. Yeah. But that back then, yeah, I
hmm
guess that would be dreaded because you're still alive. And
and I'm
now where do you go?
so me and my morbid ass over here. All right, couple things. How high are you hung?
Oh, that's also fair.
Because I mean, people ridiculing, oh God, giving you shit,
Yeah.
and probably literally giving you shit
Yeah.
from up high is one thing. But if you're eye level with these people, you're
Yeah.
immobilized. It doesn't say whether you are clothed, whether you are not clothed. Is your
Yeah.
mouth forced open? Because what could they shove in your mouth if
Yeah.
you're immobilized? I really don't want anybody shoving anything in my butthole either when
Right.
I'm not ready for it
Yes.
anyway.
And if you're eye level, people could theoretically like stab you through the cage
Mm-hmm.
or like hit
Yeah.
you with things through the cage. So yeah, I guess it does depend on how high you are because my original
Oh,
thought was like up kind of higher.
those torches.
Oh yeah, that would be awful. That would be awful. And
Oh,
people
okay.
would.
Leave it to me to make it a lot worse than it sounds. Here we thought it was a decent one. Shit. All right. So this one, whew, I want nothing to do with this one,
Yeah.
which is sad because I'm okay with the rat thing, but I don't know if how I would do this. All right. So they had a little thing back in the day, and it was called the breast ripper.
Oh, oh my God.
And another name
Oof.
was the iron spider.
Okay.
Okay. The primary use was obviously for women
Yes.
who had committed adultery, heresy, blasphemy, or were accused of witchcraft. The instrument contained 4 claws that would very slowly and painfully rip off the
Oh.
titty. Like, rip it off.
Nope. Nope.
So, not only that, but the blood from ripping it off would sometimes splatter onto their children who were forced to watch it happen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and this is another one I feel like kind of like the iron chair where you're watching somebody else get tortured. If your
Mm-hmm.
kids, if you know that your kids are going to have to watch this, you probably would be less likely to commit whatever crime it is. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know that your kids are going to have to watch, it's like,
Or be a lot more careful.
yeah, I mean that too.
Don't get caught. Move this
Yeah.
down a little bit because I'm slouching. But yeah, so that's that one.
Yeah,
And
that's
and then
terrible.
of course you're basically marked because for the rest of your life you're missing a titty, at least one.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people lived. Not very many people died from it. They just, I mean, in theory, there was actually, I think in the 70s there was a serial killer, and one of his things was to cut off the left boob.
Oh my
So there
God.
there were women that survived, and they were just missing their left boob.
Oof.
The next one is the tongue terror.
This one I think I know.
Awesome. All right. So the victim would have their mouth forced open. They would put a clamp on their tongue, and then the punisher would then pull with all of the power, ripping the fucker out.
Yeah. Ah.
And
Yeah.
how
And
does that
then
even heal?
I was gonna say, I mean, you can't talk.
Fun fact, if you get your tongue pierced, it never fully heals, and you have an increased risk of getting heart disease.
Oh, that's really interesting. I did not know that.
Thanks,
I did not
Mom.
know
She
that.
works in the dental industry.
Yeah.
So
But
I
yeah,
researched
that's
I
I
researched
mean
it, and she's right. I'll be
that's good to
damned.
know. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I mean, you can't talk. That's it. And again, that's another like social outcast thing.
Yep. I mean, it's not like you can
And
hide it.
no,
So I don't think the mortality rate is very high for that though.
no, I
So at
would
least you got
not
that going for
imagine.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll heal sometime,
You
maybe.
know, I don't know if they had sign language back then, but let's hope they did.
Yeah.
The next one we have is the breaking wheel.
Okay.
All right, do you know that one?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm terrified to hear it.
I mean, I am really good at we're learning all kinds of stuff today.
I
Um,
know.
This method was primarily used to maim, but not kill. Although some did not make it out alive. It
Okay.
was basically a wagon wheel, and they, oh my gosh, my brain just like did not register that word. But people would attach cogs. I thought it said clogs, and I'm like, shoes? was it a dancing wheel? What the hell's
Right.
happening? But anyway, so they would attach cogs to the surface, and the person who's absolutely scared to death at this point would have their limbs tied between the cogs, and then the torturer would repeatedly smash the limbs with a hammer.
Oh.
And once the victim was dead or almost dead, they would raise the wheel up so spectators could see.
Yeah.
And yeah, then they would also, on some occasions, tie a person to the outside of the wheel with their feet tethered to the ground. And then they would turn the wheel until the body would break, which almost always caused instant death.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. I honestly,
Although I could
them
definitely use
being
that.
on the wheel I mean, to some degree, it would probably be a really nice stretch, but once you get too far.
You'll like the next one.
Okay.
Okay. But yes, that was pretty bad. And then you see and you snap. But
yeah.
the next one, I'm sure you've probably heard of it.
Okay.
The rack.
Yes, that does sound familiar.
So it was mainly used for interrogations and not necessarily murder.
Okay.
Victims would be tied at the ankles to a roller at the bottom, and their wrists would be attached to a roller above their heads. And the punisher would then turn the wheel slowly, causing the rollers to stretch the joints of the victims until they were ripped out of their socket.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And sometimes they would increase the tension until they completely popped off.
Oh my God.
Slight miscalculation.
Yeah. Yes. I honestly am terrified of popping my shoulder out at the gym. Like sometimes I think about it and I'm like, that sounds awful.
Mine's not been in place since high school.
Really?
I can literally do this and like crack it and you can feel it popping in and
out. See, my sister's kneecap will go in and out. Like it's popped out so many times. But I just oof. And ripping
I'm always afraid to like deadlift and then like your intestines fall out your ass.
Oh yeah, that's also terrifying.
That makes me very nervous.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever deadlifted.
Or your bladder falls out of your goodies.
But yeah, and then you said this wasn't for murder, right? So if they're pulling them out, I mean, how does that not result in death?
Well, oof. I mean, again, mine's not been in place for 20 years.
Oh yeah, I guess that's fair.
Now, it's only one and not all of them.
Right.
So that probably has something to do with it. And I think, once you pop them off, one I don't have in here, which I'm sure everybody knows, is being drawn and quartered.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Giddy up.
Yeah. Oof. That's not great. Just
what happens if they don't initially pop off?
Yeah.
What if like only like one leg pops off and then like the horses can't get away?
That's true.
I wonder if that's probably happened, right?
Yeah, it has to have. Like
I really gotta Google failed drawn and quartered.
Yeah.
Drawn and quartered fail. Oh. There's probably like some TikTok shit out there. Fail. Like with the big red letters across it.
Yes.
Jeez. I'm definitely not from the 90s. I'm not from the 90s at all. All right. So I have a couple more. One that I just thought was kind of brutal. And the last one is the one that is in a close second.
Okay.
With the rat.
To the rats.
All right. So we have the boot.
I don't think I've heard of this one.
So this one was new to me. I hadn't heard of this one.
Yeah.
And there's another name, which is, the Spanish boot. Apparently these Spaniards are this asshole. Sorry, Spanish listeners. Back in the day, you guys were assholes. Oh, you're probably sweet now. You're great. You're fantastic. I love you all. Don't at me. But it says it was similar to a rack for legs where they would be put in to tightly fitted iron or wooden boots. Then they would insert wooden wedges that would be tightened with mallets or hammers, and they would continue tightening the boots until the bones in the feet would break. So they essentially,
oh my gosh,
I'm thinking I broke my ankle beginning of the year, and I was in a boot. I'm thinking like that, only they just tighten and tighten and tighten until it just like crushes all of the bones in your
Yeah.
feet, which is a lot of bones in your feet. It's like what, 30 bones in 20 or 30
Yeah,
bones in your
there are
feet?
a lot with your
I used
toes.
to know
Those
this
like
answer
three.
13 years ago. So um I want to say there's like 20 or 30 something bones in your feet.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mundo.
Did you see if that was for people who like ran away from something, like got out of prison? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
it
To
it didn't
stop them
say.
from, because that sounds like a horrible thing to do, but they would do it if they're trying to stop someone from being able to like get away again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if I feel like if you wanted them to be somewhere, you wouldn't. They'd probably be working, and you wouldn't want to break their feet
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. That's true.
unless it was like you did it to again. They always torture the woman, even though the man stuck his dick in her. But whatever,
Yeah.
to keep her from running around. No,
Yeah.
they probably would have just went with pear of anguish. They probably wouldn't have went with the boot.
Right.
That is a good question. What would constitute a broken foot?
Right. Right. Because that one's not like death
No,
either. That would
they
just
didn't
be a
have hit
ton of pain.
they didn't have hit and runs.
No. Yeah, that's interesting.
Horse thief?
Oh, maybe.
Because that was
Maybe.
like execution city right there.
Yeah.
Usually if you stole a horse.
Right. Yeah, maybe that.
Anyway, all right, we're gonna finish out strong here. Finish out strong with my I can't tell if it's my favorite or second favorite.
Yes.
Okay, let me know if you've heard of this one. The brazen bull.
See, okay, the name sounds familiar, but I think it's because there are other things referred to as like the brazen bull. Like that sounds familiar, but I don't think I know the method.
So shameless plug. I have Mert that I specifically
Yeah.
designed for the brazen bull. I will
Ooh.
tell you what it is when I get done telling you what happens. So, the brazen bull was a large bull constructed out of copper, typically, that would
Okay.
serve both as torture and entertainment. And people would be placed inside the bull and they would throw in herbs and stuff, smelly good stuff, right? And oil
Yeah.
and stuff. And then they would light a fire under the bull and they would cook them alive. Not only that, there was a special contraption in the bull's nose slash nostrils that
Yeah.
when the person was screaming in agony inside the bull, the way the bull was made would make it sound like a bull making noises, and steam would come rolling out of its nose like it was fighting as the person is
Well, that
roasting on the
just
inside.
seems unnecessary. That
Which,
no wonder they used it for entertainment purposes. Like,
well, maybe Colonel Sanders took a
oh.
playbook out because my shirt that I have is a golden bull, which is, well, brass, and it says the original herbs and spices. So go check it out. It's
I like
awesome. It's
that. I like
hilarious.
that one.
I was going to wear one,
Yeah.
but I don't know if my job would say whether or not that's appropriate. I guess they'd have to figure out the joke before they got it.
Yeah.
But I've already been in HR a few times. I figure I probably shouldn't push my luck. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so those
That
are
one's crazy.
my medieval devices.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. You ready for the questions?
I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
all right.
ready.
All right, Erica, we have question number 1. If you were to sustain one of these torture methods, which one would you choose?
For me to sustain or for like society?
Someone to do to you.
Okay, I think I would do the caged coffin. I do. I think out of all of them, that's probably the one that I could handle because yes, there would be some people I think who might try to abuse me like physically, but it might just be more ridicule. And then I'd be on the lam. I'd be by myself.
True. I'd probably say I would probably do the rack
Yeah.
because it's just, pop and I could potentially be done. And I only picked that because they only stretch you typically until you pop and or give them what they want.
Right.
I don't know how long because it said the times vary for the coffin.
Oh, okay.
It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks
That's fair.
that you're completely immobilized You're out in the
That's a
elements.
lot.
You're in a tiny cage. You get claustrophobic.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, okay, so
It might be an endurance thing.
not me. It'd have to be a really big coffin. My butt cheeks would be like squished out the back. All right, so you don't have to say who, but in your mind right now, picture
Yes.
someone you do not fucking like. I mean, your arch nemesis.
Yeah.
All right, you got it. Which one of these would you do to them?
Okay, so if we're talking about like the worst one, I think like what is the worst one out of all of them? This is what I want to do, the brazen bull, because I have not seen Midsummer, the horror movie, because I am terrified of horror movies, even though I'd like
I
to
don't
get
watch
into
them
them.
either.
Yeah,
So that's
not a
I'm the
fan.
same way.
But the last scene, the person is like burning alive in that bear suit. And that always, always freaked me out so much. Just the thought of being alive and basically burning or cooking to death. And then people are hearing your screams and it sounds like a bull. So they're like laughing. That just sounds like, oh.
Now, see, this is where, again, the two favorites here.
Yeah.
See, I can't decide. So on one hand, there's definitely the bull. However, I have been told that once you reach a certain amount of burn, it actually no longer hurts because you burn through the nerves.
Oh, that does make sense.
However, that doesn't account for burning through everything, including your organs and muscles.
Right.
So that probably hurt. I would very much so love to watch the person knowing they're burning in a bull and laugh at them. I would probably want to get on top of the bull and be like, "Olay!" But that's just me. On the other hand, I feel like it's not as long as the rat. I would much rather have the longer agonizing pain for them.
That's fair.
And to watch them slowly squirm, because you really can't see the person suffering in the bull.
Oh, true.
So
true.
The rats, I could actually see the agony on their face, right?
Yeah.
I'm horrible.
No.
So if I had, say, a torture cleanup crew, and I did not have to pick up all the blood and guts off the table, I'd say rats.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess technically, if you have a space where you're doing rats, you probably have some stuff where, I mean, you might just be able to just swipe the whole thing into like a dumpster or like a chute, and there might be an incinerator at the bottom or something.
You can build it the way like Sweeney Todd does.
You don't even have to. You could just get one of those things, you just crank it, and the table kind of goes up, and then there they go.
Yep, Sweeney Todd, perfect.
I've not even seen that. How do I know this?
Yeah, no. So he's like a hairdresser that
I
slits
know
the throat of his victims.
Yeah, because I always get him confused with Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, that is easy to do, and I think Johnny Depp played both of them, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
And you'd think I would have seen it because I'm all about it, but I don't know why I've never seen it.
Yeah,
but whatever. Yeah, let's say I mean, I got a lot of people I would torture, so oh wait, hold on. Take it back. We're gonna go back a step. We're not gonna start with the rat.
Okay. Oh,
we're gonna start with the pear of anguish for a little warm up, but we're not just gonna do one. We're gonna do all those motherfucking holes. And then we're gonna do the rat.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, perfect method. We've combined the two craziest.
I'm like, now we're here like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say who in case they go missing. Who am I kidding? I don't have the equipment for that.
Yeah,
I live in town. I don't even have any privacy. I mean, let's like film in the shed, but that'd get all over my stuff. I don't want to do that.
It would be. It would. I mean, it would be a lot. It's a whole effort.
I can't dispose of a body because there's like in the surrounding like 3-block perimeter. There's like 3 or 4 state troopers, so I don't think I'd be able to get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That would have to be a very sneaky. You'd have to like go to a remote cabin.
Yeah. Okay. That being said, I know this has nothing to do with medieval torture devices or necessarily anything related, but just curious here.
Yeah.
If you were going to pick a method of body disposal, which would you pick?
That's a good question. I think, honestly, I would probably burn it because then you might have ashes, but you could theoretically scatter those like in the ocean where people would not be likely to find it, I think, is my thought process.
That makes sense. You would want to sift the surrounding area because not all materials, like you'll have teeth and bone fragments that stay behind that still have the DNA in it. So be careful of that. And
Good to
also it
know.
to get a body to incinerate to the point of being ash, it has to be a very, very, very high temperature for a long period of time, kind of like at the morgue or the
Okay, I was gonna say
crematorium.
I'd have to break into a crematorium.
Yeah, because well, I'm just saying, like to get the fire to be as hot as it needs to be to burn everything down, it
Right.
would be very difficult to get that in a contained environment
That makes
without
sense.
assistance of some kind.
So then, okay, so then if I have to do one by myself, I would probably go Breaking Bad and do a plastic container and split things up. And then I would go to the water and I would put stuff in different locations and hopefully no one would ever find them. And that's all I've got because I have no other known methods of disposing of a body.
You know, I like you, and you make me feel so evil. All right, so I've got a couple options here.
Okay.
One, you get the tub. You
Okay.
pull it, you multiple tubs because it goes faster. And you dismember, and then you place the body parts in there with acid. So that way it breaks everything down, and then you dump the goo somewhere.
Oh, yeah, that would work.
Or my favorite method, wood chipper.
Ooh. See, now that's kind of what I was thinking with the burning, is it would be split up so much that you could easily move it. So yeah, that's a good one.
Because I mean, the wood chipper, all you gotta do is just and heave it in there,
Yeah.
and then all you gotta do is clean the inside of the wood chipper, get rid of the DNA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you also have the method where you could personally, if I could put a cover on the wood chipper, if I want to be extra careful, it would be put a cover over the wood chipper so it catches everything, and then go to surrounding pig farms and spread the mulch, well, the people mulch
Yeah.
into the surrounding pig farms because
Oh.
they eat everything, including bones and
Oh.
teeth.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. I would not have thought to do that. And
So
I
I
did
was like,
not know that about pigs.
yeah, they'll eat your. Seriously though, they don't care. Like
Yeah.
if you're in a pig pen and say you're an elderly person
Yeah.
and you slip and you can't get up, them motherfuckers will eat your ass.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Wait, that's why in The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy falls into the pig pit, everybody freaks out.
I never
Because
put that together.
I literally never knew that. And I have, for my entire life, been questioning why on earth are they freaking out so much?
Why did I never notice they were freaking out?
Yeah, she's like
I've seen that movie like 2 million times. I never. So now what? And granted, it might not have been that gruesome.
Yeah.
My uncle had pigs, and well, we're idiots, and she just had piglet, and
Yeah.
she was huge. I mean, she was huge.
Oh,
So, and we rode her.
that sounds like a fun time. I mean, dangerous, yes, but also fun.
Well, I don't recommend doing it right after they've had piglet because
Oh,
she was not having it. I mean,
yeah.
and you got to think, I mean, these pigs can get up to like 600 pounds.
Yes.
And people
Yeah.
don't realize that. They think like, oh, it's like a little pig. I'm like, no, like they get huge, like
Yes.
bigger than one of those little, what are the tyke toys or Tonka cars or whatever.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
The big plastic ones that with the door.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
they get huge and
Yeah.
they are very aggressive and they'll kill your ass.
Yeah.
Like they don't hesitate. I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean,
they're cutthroat.
yes, they're wild animals. It makes sense.
Sorry, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Bacon. Oh Jesus! I have made 3 slaughter jokes, and I did not even mean to. Apparently, I have slaughter on the brain today. What if you own a farm and you package your meat and you make burgers of sausage or something, slip
You
a little
could.
slip a little Jim Bob in there, you know? It's
Yeah.
Jimmy Dean sausage.
Yes. Yeah.
It's Jim and Dean. It's Jim and Dean sausage.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to hell.
Perfect. The second person could just be the Oscar Mayer meats. Doesn't Oscar Mayer have like a brand of meat too?
Yeah. They have hot dogs, bologna. I was just trying to think of a name that was actual people names that was actually a sausage.
Yeah. Jim and
now I'm gonna have the
so
Oscar Mayer song stuck in my head.
I don't know that song.
Oh, there's another thing I was gonna tell you that was really weird that happened.
Yes.
I haven't followed through with it because I don't want my neighbor to think that I'm weird.
Yeah.
Than they already do. So a few months ago, there's a couple behind me.
Yeah.
And their son lived 2 or 3 doors down from me.
Yeah.
And he died in an accident at work.
Oh,
he was an electrician, and something happened and he got shocked and it killed him.
That's so sad.
And I mean, he was younger than me.
Yeah.
And I was in the shower and my lights started flickering and the thing sounded like it fell, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, well, that's really weird. Like, that's new. Usually it's just the light.
Yeah.
And then I was hearing this clicking sound, like somebody was like tapping on something.
Yeah.
But it was the beat of a song, which is it's Cold as Ice.
Yeah.
That song.
Yes.
And I am usually really good, even when weird things happen, even though I can't see physically sometimes something standing there. It's almost like I can mentally, like I get a picture in my mind of who or what is over there. I don't know why it does that. It's just it's a thing. I don't know, but I immediately and I didn't know him that well.
Yeah.
I maybe talked to him twice ever.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he popped in my head. Like, I had his picture in my head, and I was like, and he was playing that song, and I was like, well, is it directed towards the wife or the parent?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I was like, do I go ask them if there's any significance to the song?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm more scared that there is or there isn't.
Right.
Because I don't want to go over there and be like, hey, this sounds really weird, but does this song mean anything to you?
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the message, whatever the message was, is apparently in that song. But it literally was, and I really like that song, and it was just tapping it, and it was just really weird, and it's been in my head ever since.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I don't know. I don't want to just go knock. I mean, it's Sunday afternoon. I don't want to go knock on his parents' door.
Right.
And interrupt him or whatever. I think I have his wife on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to seem weird. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, how would I feel if someone...
then they might... Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Like,
how can I spin this to make it not about him?
Yeah.
And then,
like I said, if they say no,
hey, this song came on, and for whatever reason, you popped in my head. I was just curious, like, if it means anything to you.
Yeah.
But then again, if it doesn't really mean anything, but it has something to do with him, maybe she won't tell me. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. But I guess I'll just be rocking that song in my head all day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah. I guess I probably need to wrap this up. I gotta call my kid. He's bugging me about. I guess I gotta plug in a headset and log into Fortnite and try to figure out what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
He thinks that he must think I'm cool and I know what's happening.
Yeah. That's a win.
At least I've got that going for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. This was such an interesting topic.
Oh, so this was great, and thank you for being here. It was awesome. At some point we definitely need to get you back on here. And do something maybe a little more spooky and not so much medieval torture devices, but it's still a fun topic, and I have a blast doing it.
So much fun talking about it. Yeah.
But yeah, so everybody out there listening, viewing the video, whatever, if you're not viewing the video, dude, you should go subscribe and view the video because we're awesome and we just rock. But again, go out. She's paranormal in Pennsylvania, and she told you at the beginning, where you can find her and everything. So if you don't remember, go back, or we can do it all again. And actually, what I might do is have you, if you want, send me just some links, so that way, whenever I post the episode, I can just post your links in the description so they can find you there as well.
Yeah, and sure. Thank you.
We'll just quadruple post, man. We're shoving this shit everywhere. You're going to be tagged when the episode comes out. It's going to be all over Facebook and Instagram and all of that. But yeah, everybody, go on there, give them a listen, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're on, leave a review because, that helps all of us out. And she's fucking cool, man. I mean, come on. I mean,
thank you.
But
thank you.
Not a problem. But I guess that wraps it up for today. So until next time, we'll see you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe, rate, and review anywhere you listen. This is more beneficial than you may know and will help others locate the podcast. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page as well. We currently have 2 tiers. The Snallygaster tier that'll get you unedited bonus audio, a sticker, a shout out on the podcast, and access to the private Discord server. The second tier is the Phantom tier, and that'll get you all of the benefits of the Snallygaster tier, plus access to live streams and Q&A sessions, and is the only place you can access all video footage from regular episodes as well as the Patreon exclusive episodes. You can subscribe today at patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Don't forget to head over to the TeePublic website and take a look at a variety of merch options that are available. You can also find and follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, X, and YouTube. All of these links can be found in the description of this episode under the Linktree hyperlink. Until next time, my friends, dare to believe.